At 50 years old, David wasn't dreaming about luxury homes or early retirement on a beach. He was sitting at his kitchen table, staring at a stack of bills. A worn-out tire needed replacing. The electricity bill had just increased again, and his body felt more exhausted than it should have for his age. David had worked most of his adult life. Some years he earned good money. Other years were slower. But the one thing that never disappeared was a quiet fear sitting in the background of his life. What if something happened to his job? Because if his paycheck stopped, everything else would stop with it. No income meant no groceries. No groceries meant stress. And stress meant the constant feeling that life could collapse from one unexpected event. What scared him most was not extreme poverty. It was dependence. The realization that every single part of his life depended on him waking up and working tomorrow. And that is exactly why this story matters. Because today we're going to walk through a real-world style rescue strategy, a plan designed for people who feel like they started late. This isn't a story about getting rich overnight. It isn't about gambling on a single stock. And it isn't about trading. This is the story of a tired worker who made a decision. He refused to grow older while carrying constant financial pressure. Instead of chasing flashy wins, he focused on becoming financially stable and unshakable. That one mental shift changed every decision he made from that point forward. In this video, I'm going to show you what his portfolio looked like in year one, how it evolved over 7 years, and the moment his finances finally began working for him. My name is Mike, and I spend way too much time thinking about how ordinary people build financial security. If this message helps even one person in your life, a friend, a parent, or a brother, share this video with them. Because a lot of people feel behind, but very few realize they can still rebuild. David worked as a warehouse supervisor. The job paid the bills, but it demanded long hours on his feet. By the time he reached his early 50s, the physical strain was starting to show. His knees hurt more often. Stress came in waves, and every month seemed to follow the same routine. Work hard, pay bills, and recover just enough energy to start the cycle again. He wasn't reckless with money. He didn't waste thousands on luxury cars or expensive watches. But he did something many people do without realizing it. Every extra dollar became temporary relief instead of long-term freedom. If he received a bonus, it went toward comfort. If he saved a little extra, life eventually absorbed it. Unexpected expenses kept appearing. By the age of 50, his total savings were roughly $38,000 spread across a few places. An old retirement plan from work, a small brokerage account, and some cash that rarely stayed untouched. He also had a mortgage balance and one used car that was already paid off. On paper, his situation wasn't terrible, but emotionally, it felt like he was constantly one step away from falling backward. And that feeling is extremely common. Many studies show that rising living costs make it difficult for workers to feel confident about retirement. David didn't tell himself he wanted to become wealthy. His goal was simpler. He wanted his bills to stop controlling his life. The first thing David did was something many people avoid. He calculated his survival number, not his dream lifestyle, not vacation spending, just the minimum monthly amount required to keep life functioning. Housing, groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance. After reviewing everything, he arrived at a number, $4,800 per month. That was the amount required to maintain stability. Social Security might help someday, but he didn't want to rely on it completely. Instead of asking, how big can my investment account grow? He asked a more powerful question. How much monthly income can my investments eventually generate? That question changed his entire strategy. Because a large account balance can impress people, but income changes behavior. Income pays electricity bills. Income buys groceries. Income reduces fear. Step 1. Creating a safety buffer. Before David focused on investing, he built a financial cushion. He saved roughly $16,000 in emergency funds. That represented about 4 months of core living expenses. Why? Because panic destroys long-term plans. When people have zero cash buffer, every market dip feels personal. Every unexpected repair becomes a crisis, and every crisis forces them to sell investments at the worst possible time. With a small safety net in place, he could finally begin building his portfolio. Step 2. Aggressive contributions. Next came the uncomfortable part. Contribution discipline. David cut several expenses. Frequent restaurant meals. 2 subscription services he barely used. Hobby equipment that had been collecting dust. Every extra dollar began flowing toward investing. His target was $1,500 per month. Sometimes more when overtime pay arrived. Sometimes less when life demanded it. But the direction was always the same. Forward. Starting late meant one thing. He had to become more intentional than someone who began investing at 25. Time was no longer his biggest advantage. Consistency was. Step 3. Building a simple portfolio. David didn't want a complicated portfolio. He wanted a structure that served clear roles. So his investments focused on 3 main objectives: broad market growth, reliable dividend income, long-term dividend growth. Each investment had a specific job. One fund gave him exposure to the broader market, allowing his money to grow alongside major companies. Another focused on high-quality businesses known for paying strong dividends. The third emphasized companies with a history of increasing their payouts over time. This combination allowed him to balance income today with growth for tomorrow. His initial allocation looked something like this: 40% dividend-focused investments, 35% broad market exposure, 15% dividend growth companies, 10% short-term bonds and cash. Why lean heavier toward income? Because this was a rescue plan, not a textbook portfolio for someone in their 20s. He needed visible progress. Seeing income appear in his account motivated him to keep going. Every dividend he received went straight back into the portfolio. Nothing was spent. He tracked these reinvestments in a simple spreadsheet. Each payment became what he jokingly called a new worker joining the system. At first, the numbers felt small, but repetition slowly changed that. Markets reward patience far more often than dramatic decisions. By the end of the first year, his account grew from about $38,000 to roughly $62,000. That growth came from new contributions, reinvested dividends, and market appreciation. His annual investment income reached around $1,600. Not life-changing yet, but something important had shifted. For the first time in years, David could see a system working. During the next 2 years, progress continued. He increased his monthly contributions slightly after receiving a raise. His portfolio climbed to roughly $88,000 by year 2. Investment income reached about $2,500 annually. Still modest, but 1 or 2 small bills could now be covered by investments alone. Year 3 brought unexpected stress. A family medical situation forced him to use part of his emergency savings. But because that buffer existed, he didn't have to sell investments. He handled the situation, rebuilt the cash reserve, and continued investing. By the end of year 3, his portfolio reached about $116,000. Annual income approached $3,500. At this point, something subtle happened. The system began feeding itself. Contributions still mattered, but dividends and growth were starting to add visible momentum. By year 4, the portfolio reached roughly $153,000. Investment income exceeded $4,900 per year. By year 5, the account climbed near $195,000. Income approached $6,600 annually. David described this stage as the pressure drop. Life wasn't perfect, but it felt lighter. Unexpected expenses no longer created panic. Year 6 revealed the real power of consistency. The portfolio grew to approximately $242,000. Annual income climbed to about $8,400, or roughly $700 per month. That amount covered several household bills. By year 7, the account approached $291,000. Investment income reached around $10,200 annually, or about $850 per month. And that was the moment everything changed. because $850 every month covered a large portion of his basic expenses. Electricity, internet, insurance, most grocery trips. David wasn't fully retired, but he had something incredibly powerful. Financial backup. David reached that milestone at 57 years old. Not 27, not 37, 57, which proves something many people forget. The window for progress doesn't close. What closes is the fantasy that time alone will solve the problem. Late starters need three things: strong contributions, simple, high-quality investments, consistent reinvestment. The exact investments can change, but the behavior matters more than the tools. If you feel behind financially, don't waste time asking whether you started too late. Ask a better question: what can I build over the next 7 years? Because 7 years of disciplined effort can completely change the direction of your life. David's story shows that financial stability isn't built from perfect timing. It's built from repeated action. And if you want more breakdowns like this, real case studies, strategies, and portfolio structures for people starting later in life, subscribe and join the lab. Because the truth is simple. You're not too late. You just need a plan,